So you're ready to start keto, you've done the research and you're ready to jump in. But do you go all in or do you start gradually?
In today's video, we're going to tell you which one's better. Welcome to Pop Keto, where we aim to help you live a sustainable keto and low carb lifestyle. And we do that by putting out videos each week, either recipes or tips for living a sustainable keto lifestyle. So if that's what you're looking for, have a look at some of the other videos on our channel. If you like what you see, hit subscribe so that you'll know when new videos come out. So let's get into it. Lisa, what are we talking about today?
So today we are talking about starting keto and should you go all in or should you start gradually? So keto is not necessarily a short-term diet. For us and our experience, we have found it to be a lifestyle that we've really adopted.
It's a long-term way of eating.
Yeah, and very sustainable. Based on our experience, doing a keto diet really is sustainable, and actually it's actually not as hard as you think.
We've done other short-term sort of eating plans before that haven't worked as well as keto has for us. And I think part of it is the good food and just not feeling like you're starving yourself because you get to eat so much good food. The tricky thing is taking those first steps. And so today we're talking about those first steps, whether you go all in or whether you do it a little by little. Both have pros, both have cons, so we're going to go through them with you today. All right, so let's start with just going all in.
So let's start with the pros of going all in. First and foremost, it's drawing that line in the sand. There is no confusion. There's no blurry lines here. You know what you're going to be eating and what you are not going to be eating. So with going all in, you're no longer buying the foods that contain sugars and starches and grains and wheats and bad oils. And you're now all in with the whole foods and low carb ingredients.
So for us, we actually did the all in approach and we saw results come actually pretty fast.
So this helped us really see the benefit of cutting out the sugary foods and the processed foods from our diet.
But there are cons. I mean, looking at doing something like that, it actually can seem pretty daunting. The amount of food that you think you're going to miss out on, the amount of things that you've got to think about, how you're going to get around or what you can replace stuff with, that can actually be pretty daunting up front.
Really scary actually.
And you may even feel at times that it looks like you can't eat anything.
Yeah, but that's where it really comes down to that discovery of new recipes. And the internet is loaded with keto and low carb recipes. So definitely enjoy that process.
I guess one of the other cons that definitely comes up when you're starting keto in this way is keto flu.
Yeah, definitely.
About a week, around that week mark in, you're going to feel terrible just as your body adjusts to what you're doing.
Yeah. Now we do have a video on this where we actually dive deeper into this. So we'll link that below, but it's definitely worth knowing and understanding what is happening when you go through keto flu. And I know for some people, this is actually a point where they say, no, I can't do this. I just can't do it. But can I just encourage you, or we encourage you to really push through that. But definitely do the research and understand why keto flu does occur.
It's worth it. So that's the pros and cons for going cold turkey, which is actually keto friendly. So let's talk about starting gradually. And I guess starting all or nothing, there's a clear line on what you're doing. But I guess it's worth talking about what a gradual approach would look like.
This would be pretty much starting to eliminate certain foods from your diet. So for example, you may want to start by just eliminating sugar completely. No more sugary desserts, donuts, cakes, all of that. It's off, it's done.
And then next you might take bread out of your diet and then some high fructose fruits that you might be eating. So it's a step-by-step approach that leads you towards a keto or low carb diet. So what are the pros of that approach? Well, I guess the first one is that an all or nothing approach could seem really daunting, really intimidating, and might stop you from even trying. So a step-by-step approach might encourage you to step out and try making these changes in your diet. And I think everyone would agree that starting to take any of these processed foods out of your diet is a good thing.
And ultimately, the next pro really is that you're moving in the right direction. Have a plan, stick to it, and start moving towards the goal of having your net carbs per day at 20 to 50 grams.
Now, there are some cons to this way as well that probably need discussing.
So while you're in the process of lowering your carb intake by eliminating certain foods, even though you're doing it as per a plan, you need to be aware that you're not going to be in ketosis until you have reached your net carbs to be that 20 to 50 grams per day and fully fat adapted. So with not being in ketosis, you may struggle a little bit more. You may still be feeling that hunger. You may not feel as satiated as you would when you are fully in ketosis and eating full fat.
Also, the lines could be a bit blurred depending on what stage you're at in your eating. Do I eat this? Do I not? Have I taken that out yet? So it's really something you need to keep track of.
And it's easier to cheat. Like if you've thought, well, I kind of fell over a little bit there, I'll just do it again. You could set yourself back a little bit there. Whereas if you have that defined, I actually don't eat this, it's easier just to say no. It sort of feels like they'd leave a little bit of wriggle room. So I think that would be a challenge as well.
I guess the last thing to touch on here is something we've actually touched on a little bit as we've been going through this, is that as you're reducing your carbs and reducing the food step by step out of your diet, you're not actually in a state of ketosis yet. Not until you're getting down to that 20 to 50 grams of net carbs a day.
Yeah, and being fully fat adapted.
Yeah,
yep.
And because of that, you're not going to be seeing the results as quickly or feeling the benefits. Okay, so at the beginning, we promised you we were going to tell you which of these approaches is the best for starting keto.
So for us, the all-in approach very much was the best approach for us. We saw results fairly quickly. It was actually quicker than I expected, but we saw results quickly and it helped just define what we were and weren't eating. So even though we had our learning ongoing and we were sort of adapting and changing, but we were very much all in. We weren't swinging back to any of the higher carb foods.
That said, if that is not going to work for you, if you find that too intimidating, if something like that will stop you from taking even the smallest steps, then I would say a gradual approach is the way to go. Making sure that you're first focusing on reducing the carbs that you're having before you look at increasing any fats. Because keto is high fat, low carb eating. So if you do it the other way around and you start increasing your fats before you've decreased your carbs, you could run into a little bit of trouble. So in summary, the best way to start keto for you is the way that's going to make it sustainable for you in the long run.
So if you're new to keto, let us know in the comments below if this has been helpful for you. If you've been on keto for a while, pop down in the comments and let us know what approach worked best for you. We'd love to hear your feedback on that.
We'd love to hear from you. So guys, hope that's been helpful. If you've liked the video, don't forget to give it a like. Other than that, stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.